Police body-worn cameras have been touted as tools for transparency and accountability, but police reform advocates say the current laws make it difficult for the public to obtain body camera video.
NBC 10 investigative reporter Claudia Vargas finds out how the public can see what police officers do before and during an encounter.
Snippets of news stories and protester cell phone video capture disturbing scenes, violent clashes between protesters and police. But police body-worn camera video could show unedited and lengthier versions of such encounters. That's why Police Advisory Commission Executive Director Hans Mennos and others want to see those videos.
And I think that we're at a point in 2020 where transparency is key, and direct access is what some of the most transparent police departments offer to their oversight commissions.
Philadelphia's Police Advisory Commission is the civilian oversight board of the police department. But unlike similar entities in other cities, it has little power, including access to body camera footage.
If the police department, at its discretion, determines that we are allowed to see video, we have to see it on their properties.
Some cities, such as Chicago, give their police oversight boards direct access to body camera video.
The reality is, the problem with policing in Philadelphia boils down not just to the high-profile incidents of violence, but also to the everyday interactions that can either bolster or degrade the police department's reputation.
Philly Police spokesman Inspector Sekou Canabru says the department is figuring out how to best balance transparency while following state law.
What's not only reasonable, but also what can be done, what's possible given the limitations and the finite resources that we have.
Regular citizens have to fill out a special state form to access body camera footage. But Philly PD stats show that barely anyone is asking for it. In 2019, only one request was made, and it was denied due to the incident being under investigation. The 5 requests made in 2020 so far are all pending. Democrat State Representative Dan Miller says the law behind the state form makes it nearly impossible for citizens to access body camera footage.
When it comes to the vast majority of footage that is filmed off of taxpayer-supported cameras in anywhere, I think that you have to, the point should be, the default should be that that's open to the public.
Miller has been trying to change the law. He introduced a bill that would in part lengthen the time period the public can request body camera footage from 60 to 180 days. His bill would also make the requirements of the request itself less stringent and increase access. But in a Republican majority legislature, he has not had any luck.
Without the public pushing for reform on some of these matters, no, I have no faith that these issues or things like them will be addressed.
Miller's bill is stuck in the State House Judiciary Committee and is not scheduled for a hearing. The committee's chair, Republican Representative Robert Kaufman, declined an interview to explain why. We spoke with Representative Martina White, a Republican from Northeast Philadelphia, about Republicans' apprehension to Miller's bill. She is not on the Judiciary Committee, but is familiar with the bill.
The focus is right now is trying to find a way to make these, body cameras and the footage more readily available, and then also able to be held and stored. But obviously, there's always a cost involved in that.
She and other legislators don't want to give departments a mandate they can't afford. White says body camera video should be released following controversial events, but she wouldn't say whether the video from the recent protest falls under her release criteria.
I don't think people need to be watching every waking moment of an officer's on-duty experience.
If the state doesn't address body camera footage, Philadelphia Councilman Curtis Jones says City Council will.
At the end of the day, the citizens have a right to that footage, and if it requires additional legislation, we're up for the task.
Jones didn't offer specifics as to what council could actually do. He says policies around the release of body camera footage need to be carefully thought out.
How do we provide total transparency without causing harm to witnesses and bystanders?
Jones plans to hold a hearing next month to discuss the police response to the protests. As part of that hearing, he will be requesting body camera footage. For the investigators, I'm Claudia Vargas, NBC 10 News.
Other news now, authorities are testing a gun found near the body of a lawyer suspected of opening fire at a judge's home in central Jersey. They want